Hi, Professor. Hi, everyone. This is my critical creative reflection one. My name is Evelyn. I will be doing my reflection on module one and some of the articles that I chose and a video. So, in this slide, it it connects to how I understand education after reading the standards for academic and professional instruction and foundation of other education. What stood out to me most when I was reading this, when I was reading the article and the modules, the idea that education is a public good and plays a critical role in sustaining in democracy around the world. That really shifted how I think about teaching, not just as delivering content, but as shaping how students experience voice, power, and participation in school. Uh, Digging down this in this reflection, what helped me connect this even more was the idea on global issues and education, which showed how schooling is influenced by larger social, economic, and inequality. It pushed me as a future educator, to rethink my role, not just as someone supervising students, because I do work in aftercare and it's a day by day job, but as an educator who can help students think critically and expand the mind about the world around them, not just one place. Um, I believe even small actions like encouraging, uh, being respectful, dialogue, validating students' experiences, and letting them take on leadership roles, letting them take on, uh, be reflected with their democratic values, their political values, and their cultural values. And these moments matter, especially in spaces like where I work and aftercare, um, where often students don't feel unheard. I've seen a bunch of students, they come up to me, I'm having a bad day, and, as me, trying to be the caretaker, I try my best to be be there for her, to listen to her, to be mindful, to talk to the parent, to see, in front of my manager, to see what can be helped out. Yeah. So slide two, um, this is based on me becoming a teacher. So as I think of my future classroom, the ideas will strongly shape how I teach. I want to create an environment where students feel respected, included, empowered to question themselves and think out of the box. That to me, I want to see students be engaging. I want to see students ask questions, be curious. That to me is like, I don't have to do that much of the work because I'm not sitting, presenting about a science science lesson, and all I'm just saying what's the definition of density. All I'm just saying is basically telling the students, what do you think density mean? You know, engaging them, getting them to pick their brain, especially if it's a morning class, afternoon class. They're all tired, but they need to keep up, the standards highlight the importance of supporting. As I was reading this, I did not know that the standards were important that much. The development and sense of agency were which aligns closely with my goal of building strong, meaningful relationship with students. Um, I in aftercare I do set boundaries because as being a teacher is different from being a caretaker. A teacher, you're teaching them in the day by day in the mornings and through all the way in the afternoon. As a caretaker, it's a different responsibility as we're I'm supervising them, making sure they're not doing nothing that they're not supposed to do. They have to be doing homework, and a lot of it comes where I'm being the target, where like I'm being mean, and sometimes it's not that. It's sometimes I have to put rules, because if not, they're just gonna do whatever they want. And I I've worked in fifth graders. I have built relationship. Fifth graders love me. Fourth graders, they're like, they stand from distance from me because I'm strict with them. Because when I'm talking with them, they're talking above me, and it's a lot of hard work to deal. And as a future educator, I want them to come up to me, and maybe have a boundary, but maybe them to come up to me and say, "Hey, Miss Evelyn or Miss Olivares, um, how's your day? How's your day going? Like, are you okay? Like that type of thing. Um, rather than focusing on rules, or I plan to prioritize students' voice, cultural responses, and meaningful learning experiences. I've seen it in aftercare that when students are treated as passive learners, they often disengage. But when there are often opportunities to lead activities or share their opinions, their behavior engagement improves significantly. Um, when students, like I said, I've seen them, when students are given meaningful choices and input, they don't just behave better, they feel valued. That's the kind of classroom I want to create, the one where students are active participant in their learning, not just recipients of information. Okay. So based on this slide, ultimately these readings and the videos I saw on the modules pushed me to rethink what I truly means to be an educator. I mean, it really expanded me so much. As someone that's going to school right now, I have three classes that are going. I'm going to campus all the time, and basically, um, just seeing one-on-one conversation with the teacher, having to have the knowledge to sit there, to ask her questions, to ask all of them questions, the professors, and be like, hey, how do you did this in your past as a teacher? How can we improve this on when you do your job as a teacher, and you graduate. This is my last semester. You know it's been a hell of a ride, I will say. 6 classes a semester. I'm doing good. If people ask me like if I'm doing well, I'm good. But other than that, teaching is not just about meaning behavior or delivering content, but about making international choices that either reinforce or challenge inequalities within schools. In my current role, like I've said, in aftercare, I am beginning to see how everyday interactions, how I respond to conflict, whose voices I prioritize, and how I create spaces for students to express themselves can reflect democratic value and practice. Um, I believe that every student has a different culture, and I feel like that they have the freedom to speak up what they want to speak up. I've never been one person to be like, oh, you can't say that. Just if there's something to be said, say it. Because it's better you don't hide it, just say it. Um, as a future teacher, I want to carry these awareness in my classroom by creating learning environments where students feel safe, questioning, collaborating, and connecting their learning real world issues. Um, and as I was reading one of the modules of the article, uh, the social foundation framework reminds me that even small actions can have meaningful impact, and that educators have both the responsibility and the power to advocate for more just inclusive and human-centered educational spaces. Um, this has this reflection has helped me see my future work not just as a career, but as a commitment to students, community, and broader goal of education and equity. I believe that because I come from a background where my parents are immigrants. They come from immigrant background, and my mom and my father have been very like um strict with me with school. My mom would go to teachers, be like, "Oh, I give you permission to ground her," and and my mom has never said to me to not, to not be silent of what I believe in. And I feel like students, if they want to say something, they should be comfortable saying it to the teacher or the principal or the assistant principal or any adult. I feel like if they don't, like, if we limit, them from be hiding things, being quiet, I feel kids are being introverted. They don't come out of their shelf, and I was introverted all my life. I still am, but I've been extrovert a bit. I feel that if all of them expand themselves, they can start talking, and it can start conversations, clubs, and you know so yeah. Thank you. This is my reflection. I hope you like it, Professor. I try my very best. Thank you.